Now I want to turn my attention to rhodiola rosea, and I want to bring you to the Xinjiang Autonomous Region. And if Xinjiang sounds familiar, it's because currently that is where the Chinese government has imprisoned, tortured, in some cases killed, and otherwise utterly destroyed the culture of the Uyghur people, who are Turkestani in descent, who are not Han Chinese, who have lived peacefully in that area for a long, long, long time, and with whom I have spent time. And I cannot tell you today what is happening with these people, except that I know their trade and their lives have been destroyed and they've been detained in prisons. Rhodiola is known as golden root. It's found in Siberia and China. It is another adaptogen, helping you to adapt to all forms of physical and mental stress. I grew up swimming in the ocean of Maine, the Maine coast. If you know anything about Maine, nobody ever says, gosh, that Maine ocean water sure is warm. I actually had a friend from the South Seas, brought him to the beach. He put his foot in the water, and he was so upset with me. He felt that I had done something terrible to him by even making him feel that water, because he came from a place where it was like bath water. I found after taking rhodiola for about 6 months that I could double my time in the rather cool ocean waters of Maine. That's adaptation. That's real. That's a big deal. Double my time. I've noticed my cold sensitivities way down. I'll often go out in a t-shirt in cold, cold weather, and I don't stay out there for days, but I'm fine. That's just because of the adaptogens. It enjoys hundreds of efficacy studies. It's unquestionably one of the most beneficial plants in the world. This slide that you see is a Uyghur harvester hand harvesting rhodiola rosea root in the Tian Shan mountain range right up against Kazakhstan. This region used to be called Outer Mongolia. They have 2 months to harvest this. You notice the snow behind him, okay? This is end of July. They have July and August and no other time. Because before July, too much snow. After August, too much snow. Can't just go grousing around in the snow looking for rhodiola. They dig this stuff by hand. They're up there at sunrise. They work all day long. They stop and eat a little bit of food. They bring their rhodiola rosea root down to the plains in bags, and there all the fun and the negotiating begins that I will show you in just a moment. We know a lot about the phytochemicals. We know that there's a group of compounds called the rosavins that appear to be primarily responsible for the adaptogenic, energy-enhancing, stamina-promoting, mind-clearing properties of this remarkable plant. It shows very, very good efficacy for helping men with ED, shows very good efficacy for restoring a normal, healthy menstrual cycle. It's quite remarkable, and it's something that you don't have to wait a long time to feel. It combats stress, so again, that getting off of an angry horse sensation. It is antioxidant. It demonstrates some anti-cancer properties, and we really can't do anything about that. It enhances immune function overall. It is also immunomodulatory. It has a great quickening effect on the mind. I like to think of rhodiola as mental index, okay? It sharpens your concentration. It makes you more alert. It relieves depression. It lowers anxiety. It helps you with short-term and long-term recall. You ever have the experience of reading a paragraph in a book or a magazine and then realizing that's the 4th or 5th time you've read that? I do that on planes. I'm like, God, that sounds so familiar. Oh, right, I've been reading this paragraph over and over again because I'm dopey and tired. Okay, if you can go 2 hours reading with rhodiola, maybe it's 4. The difference is really stark. So this is a mighty, mighty herb. Doctors Richard Brown and Patricia Gerbarg, he of Columbia University Medical Center, she of New York University Hospital, wrote the Rhodiola Revolution, showing their work using rhodiola rosea extract clinically in their practices in place of the dangerous and often deadly antidepressant drugs that don't work and the anti-anxiety drugs that cause anxiety. Look to the 2005, I think it's June, but I'm not sure about the month, issue of the Journal of the American Medical Association, where they did a meta-study of antidepressants and concluded, this is JAMA. Okay, this is the people that theoretically we don't like and they don't like us. And they basically said antidepressants don't work any better than a sugar-based placebo pill. This is one of the keynote studies on antidepressants ever, and you can just imagine how much play it got out there in the medical community. Not much at all. So biological activities continued. Strength, endurance, physical work capacity, coordination. It's great for athletes. It improves your reaction time. If you're recovering from something, you've been exhausted, you've been fatigued, this will help to bring back your vitality for real. I mentioned menstrual irregularity and erectile function. You feel this stuff. As with ashwagandha, as with maca, you feel it. And I love promoting the botanicals that people feel, because if you do that, people have a good experience, then when it's time for one of the botanicals you don't feel, ginkgo, echinacea, etc., which may still be highly valuable, people are more receptive because they've had a good herbal experience. So these guys come down out of the mountains with their bags of rhodiola rosea on their motorcycles, and they go to the buyers' homes. And it's this game. They kind of come up and they sort of lean back in their motorcycles and they go, so what lousy price are you paying today, huh? And the person will go, oh, such and such, and they'll go, to hell with that, and they'll drive off, which means absolutely nothing. That was just the opening shot. And then eventually they drive back and they're like, and they go back and forth and they haggle and they settle on a price and everybody's really actually happy. But if you don't haggle, then you're kind of a jerk. So you have to. And then the buyers take all the rhodiola out of the bags and make sure there aren't any bricks in there. Oh, that happens. Bricks, rocks, logs. You don't want to pay for that. So you go through it, and then what happens, oops, excuse me, come back. What happens is they weigh it right in front of the harvester, say, okay, this is 23 kilos, and our price today is this, and they get out a calculator, and they do it, and they show that, and everybody agrees, and they write it down, and then they pull out the cash. This is a cash industry. You don't say to these people, great, got it written down here, pay you next Wednesday. No, 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 no. All over the world, whether it's ashwagandha, whether it's rhodiola, whether it's maca, whether it's kava, whether it's one plant or another, you show up with your plant, you get it weighed, you get paid. It is a cash and carry business.